Hello, everyone. Welcome to another chit chat with me. And I had this realization yesterday as I was typing on my Instagram story, and I was like, you know what? I need to talk about this. I warned all of you. I said it once and I said, I'm going to say it again. Like, I cannot stop talking about everything that has been emerging around Big Kid School. I can't stop talking about it. It's all I think about. I literally go to sleep thinking about all of this stuff. And anyway, it was like right before bed last night. I was just listening to your live from yesterday. Oh my God. Thank you. I love that. Okay, so last night I was in bed and I was typing out on my Instagram story. And I was just talking about how I was really excited for one of the weeks that we're going to be doing in Big Kid School called Entertainment Week. And I don't want to give you all the details because it's for everyone in Big Kid School. But I just started daydreaming and fantasizing about like all of the things that people are going to be doing during that week, or like what I'm going to be doing during that week, and the inspiration I'm going to get from Pinterest, and the activities that I'm going to choose, and the ideas that I'm going to help other people create. And just putting everything together started to feel so much fun. I just started to be overwhelmed with this energy of excitement and anticipation, and like really having something to look forward to. And that's when it dawned on me that one of the things that people are really not exercising deeply in their lives is actively and intentionally creating something that they are looking forward to. And for whatever reason, contemplating this just hit me like a ton of bricks, because I was like, oh my God, that answers so many questions. So that answers why people feel so frustrated and stuck around manifestations. And the reason why I bring up manifestations is because so many people are they're interested in actively creating their lives. So I don't agree with the idea of just like forget about manifestation completely. That's hard to do. Like, you can't just come to this realization that you actually have a say in the direction of your life and how life is going, and then saying, okay, now forget that completely. That's not going to work for people, especially when you have experienced manifesting things. You're not going to be able to just unwind the tape. And so what I did start to realize, though, is that because people know that they're a creative being, right? There's this energy that's animating you. You are an active creator in this life. And when we're thinking about manifestations, a lot of the time the manifestations are things that are bigger or larger or more significant, like jobs and houses and relationships and whatever. And because of that, when we're focused on that, we're casting our desires out, we're creating our desires, but then there's also the gap, which we talked about yesterday, right? And the gap is good. The gap is where life is lived. However, I also think there is something to be said about the journey is going to feel more dreadful if you don't have things that you're looking forward to in the short term. And so I was thinking about this a lot last night, because the energy that I was feeling in my body, and like the enthusiasm and the excitement, and I was, all jazzed about everything that's coming up. And I was like, this is what we're going to be doing together, is creating things that you're looking forward to on a weekly basis. That's fun. Like, that's a huge part of the puzzle, is we've lost the art of giving ourselves things that we are excited about and that we want to, that we're looking forward to, and we want to invest in some way, or that we want to plan, we want to prepare, we want to get ready for, we want to anticipate. And I think the anticipation energy is something that has really been, I would say, mishandled is the right word. It's like anticipation of something that's far away doesn't feel so good. It can sometimes, but then other times, if you're having a bad day or you're not feeling the best, it can feel kind of defeating. It can feel like, when is it going to get here? Or I'm tired of focusing on this, or I'm not having a good time anymore. And those are the types of things that you have to be really tender with. And I find that's very difficult for people. Like this idea of, okay, you have a goal, you have a desire, a manifestation that you want. Okay, now only think about it and talk about it when you're in a really good headspace, even though that is the trick. Like, that is what you want to be doing more of the time. And that would be really helpful. But it's like, what are you doing the rest of the time? Just be a non-thought? That's also hard. And so it's like, people are not, it's like, where are you going to put your focus? And what are you going to be doing with your mental energy during that time? And I think we just need more positive outlets for that energy to go. And we need more, it's almost like you want to give, this is going to sound so hilarious, you want to give your mind more enrichment activities, in the same way that if you want your dog to eat a meal slowly, you want to give it one of those mats that's really complicated where they can't inhale everything all at the same time. Or if you want to keep your dog occupied and wear them out, you want to like roll up treats in a towel and start tying it into all of these knots and let your dog go to town on it, and it'll keep them occupied for like an hour. And we also need to be doing things like this with our mental body. And it's a skill. I'm saying this over and over and over. This is a skill. This is not something that people are just diving into. And I'm speaking from the clients that I'm working with and the people that I've spoken to about this. They're not fully flexing this muscle in the way that is most beneficial. And so it's usually like a short burst of energy. It's like trying something right out of the gate. Usually it burns out quickly because it's a skill. This is why I'm saying over and over and over that Big Kid School is like a gym, right? Because you need to get into the practice. This is something that needs to become a part of your life. It's something that you have to try and try and try and really start developing the muscles around it and getting into the habit and getting the flow and getting into the rhythm and giving yourself something to focus on and continually setting the intention of, I am going to create this experience for myself and I'm going to move in the direction of that experience. And the thing is, it's short term enough to where it's really satisfying as you're planning it, because it's not something that is going to happen in 6 months to a year. It's not such a big desire that you can't successfully achieve it in a short amount of time. So not only are you capitalizing on using your mental body energy in the short term, but there's also the satisfaction of actually getting there and actually having the tangible results and actually living your life and having the experience. And all of this is what I'm realizing people are deeply, deeply needing at this time. And it just so many things continue revealing themselves as I'm getting deeper into this. And this is why it's like I'm coming on live and I'm talking for freaking hours about this. And the other thing, it reminded me of the Ascent Masterclass. If you didn't already watch the Ascent Masterclass, that is on my YouTube. I have mixed feelings about it. I don't know what I want to do with that masterclass, in all honesty. I was going to make it an email incentive, like sign up for my newsletter and you get this masterclass. I don't know what I'm going to do with it now at this point. So anyway, it's still up on my YouTube if you want to go watch it. Totally free. You can go check it out. But one of the things that I describe in that masterclass is needing a mountain. If you don't have a mountain to climb, you're going to get depressed. And if you're not moving in the direction of something that you really want or love or enjoy, then it's almost like there's no point living. And then you actually feel purposeless and lifeless. And then you're not summoning any life force energy. And that is a really uncomfortable feeling as well. That's not a pleasant experience for anyone to have. And so you kind of want to strike this sweet spot of having something to focus on. You want a mountain. You need to be climbing some type of mountain. And it can be something tangible. It can be something abstract. It can be in any area of your life, but it's really important for you to climb the mountains, whatever that might be. And those are the long-term, bigger manifestations and experiences, right? So those are not going to fall into the category of the short-term stuff. But what I realized is we do need to mimic that same experience in the short term. And the reason being is for the mental stimuli and enrichment. Otherwise, your mind, okay, let me put it this way. You have one of two options. Your mind goes into default mode, and your mind is just a reflection of whatever habitual thoughts you've been thinking for however long. And your mind just kind of runs amok. And even if you're disciplined around the mind, like I consider myself to have a lot of mental discipline in terms of the direction of my thought and kind of contouring my thoughts to be a reflection of the direction I desire to go. I'm actually very, very skilled at that. And I still cannot leave my mental body unattended for an indefinite amount of time. That's also just asking for trouble, because your mind wants to go find problems. Like it wants to be occupied and it wants things to do and it wants to focus and it wants to think and it wants to contemplate and it wants to do that. And the other thing is thinking is satisfying. So it's not that thought is bad, it's that unattended negative orientation thought can be destructive, right? That's the type of stuff that we need to provide some gentle boundaries around to start steering it in the direction that we want it to go. Or we've got to play with it. We've got to give it something to do. We've got to give it something to focus on. We need to give it a project. And what I'm really excited about in Big Kid School is, obviously, because it's Big Kid School, we're going to have homework. We have to have homework, duh. And so every week, it's like you're going to have those projects where you're focusing on something. So then you're having the experience of like, my mind is putting this together. I might have to do a little bit of research this week. I might need to do a few things. I might need to plan my day. I might need to get a few things ready. I might need to go to the grocery store and prepare for this. And it's like, when you're doing that, and it's beyond the scope of just being utilitarian. Okay, because this is the other thing. People will not find utilitarian activities to be enjoyable if that's the only type of functioning you're operating from. Then it's like, no wonder people are burnt out. No wonder people are not interested in trying new things, because if it constantly feels like a chore, then you're just not going to enjoy yourself if that's the tone of your life experience. And so what I've found is the art of play, or the practice of play and pleasure, has more to do with actively making things fun in the way that a child would. So I talked a few days ago on here about that little boy that I saw in the Costco refrigerated section who was like having the time of his life in that big fridge. Okay, that like huge refrigerated section of Costco. And it's like, there's nothing remarkable about the activity. However, his intention, his desire, his focus is what ended up making it a fun, pleasurable experience. And so I'm just seeing this as like, this is the art. This is the art, because if you have something that you love and that you're really excited to experience and that you want to experience and that you want to bring to life, that's the key thing. If you want to bring something to life and you're looking forward to it, it's not going to feel like a chore. It's not going to feel like a chore. This is the same thing that I tell people with cooking, because there's a lot of people who don't enjoy cooking, but I love cooking. And the reason why I love cooking is I love eating. I really like eating delicious food. And so if you have something that you're really looking forward to, then the steps in order to make it happen all feel exciting. Then collecting the ingredients feels exciting, and putting everything together, and then preparing the food and listening to music. Then it all of a sudden becomes a whole vibe. And then it becomes like this drawn out, pleasurable experience that you're having. And, you know, obviously that example might not be the best for anyone. Not everyone's going to love to cook. But the point is that it's a matter of practice and reframing and intention setting. And we have really neglected the practice of casting our vision a little bit more, a little bit closer. So like, yes, the big stuff, the far out stuff, the big goals, the big mountains, all of that is fine and good. But if you also start to incorporate the okay, I'm back. Sorry, my best friend just called me. If someone is on here, can you see it? Am I still on? If you're on Instagram Live. Can you still see me if you're on Instagram Live? I can't tell. Fuck. Hello, hello. Can someone see me? Oh, thank God. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, anyway, after I was rudely interrupted by my best friend, I will scold her later. How dare she? My phone's on do not disturb. She knows better. Okay, good. So anyway, as I was saying, is you want the big mountains and you want the short term, like just throw some things out in front of you that are shorter term that you're looking forward to, because that's what summons energy. This is what we talked about in the Ascent Masterclass, is like, if you don't have a mountain, there's no life force energy that's being summoned through you. And that sucks. That sucks. However, if you tell a little kid that we're going to go get ice cream, they are going to be over the moon for the whole week in anticipation of going to get ice cream. And it's like the smallest thing. However, it's summoning so much of that energy. And the thing is, we're not, I don't know why we've stopped using the wisdom that comes from children, essentially, because they're modeling a lot of things that are energetically accurate. And so that is one of the best things that I just had this epiphany about last night, is the smaller things that are more intentional, that you're giving yourself the opportunity to look forward to. Okay, that way you have both dimensions going at the same time. Then it's, I'm really looking forward to this experience as I'm on my way, as I'm making my way up the bigger mountain, the bigger goal, the bigger intention. And so that way it's like you have lots of exciting experiences, you're having a lot of fun, you're having the time of your life, you have a lot of life force energy being summoned through you, you're making memories along the way, you happen to have the bigger manifestations pop as a result of you being in a non-resistant state. And it's like the golden recipe. It's literally the perfect recipe. So anyway, that was the main thing that I wanted to come on here and talk about, is just that in Big Kid School, I'm obsessed. I'm thinking about it morning, noon, and night at this point. And it really is about curating wonderful experiences for yourself week by week by week, and just flexing that muscle so that you understand how to carry that forward and continue replicating that, so that you don't just fall back into waiting for the big manifestations. That is no fun. That is no fun. I'm telling you, as someone who has like trapped themselves in a room and done nothing but just focused and meditated in order to get a manifestation and tried to wrestle it into reality. I've done it. I've done it multiple times. Okay. And so I'm just letting you know from experience, it's the wrong approach. It's the wrong approach. Don't take the bait. And the other thing is, if you, okay, I'm going to go into numbing as well for a second, because this is a really important thing. When people are tired of manifestation practices, they fall into numbing. We've been talking about this a lot. We've been having this conversation. If you do not give yourself something that is more appetizing than numbing, your brain is going to opt for numbing. And this is part of the problem, is that there's nothing that people have out in front of them that is more interesting. This is why TikTok and Instagram are more enticing. Watching TV is going to be more enticing than curating a wonderful experience that you're going to have on a random Wednesday night. Because it seems that a lot of the other stuff is too labor intensive, or is kind of boring or blasé or whatever. And so you have to make it a practice in order to, or you have to find things that are really, really exciting, that are summoning life force energy through you in order to override the numbing. Let me say this in more simple terms. This is my third live call today. Let me say this more simply. Okay, you want the experience that you're creating, or the thing that you have going on this week, the short-term goal, whatever you want to call it, to be more exciting and more interesting and more fun and more satisfying than the experience of numbing. Otherwise, more than likely, you're going to pick the low-hanging fruit. You're going to orient towards what's easiest. However, if there's something that begins stirring up a lot of energy within you, yeah, you're going to want to move in the direction of it, and it's going to feel more natural. And so this is what this is what we are going to be doing in Big Kid School. We are in the gym. We're in the gym every week together. We are doing the things. And that way you can see the difference between numbing, even though a lot of you probably have done consumption fasts as well. I've gone on and on about consumption fasts. Fasting is just don't do it. Don't pick it up. And if you're bored, too bad. Okay, that's consumption fasting, even though consumption fasting changed my life, and other people can attest to that. It's changed their lives as well. But this is more of like, we want life to actually be richer and fuller, even with the temptation of other things that might constitute numbing. right? Or that might fall into that category of numbing behaviors. And so anyway, I just feel like this is really important. This is really big stuff. And don't you dare for a second think that this is not important, or that you don't need to have fun, you don't need to enjoy your life. Yes, you do. Please do not trap yourself in habits of numbing or waiting for manifestations. Please do not do that to yourself. There is so much more available. The world is big, and you're meant to have a lot of fun, for real. You're meant to have really good time on the planet. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of experiences, there's a lot of fun to be had, and I'm just so excited to see what happens next. All right, I am done. I need to go give my vocal cords some rest. And as always, Big Kid School, you know where the link is. It's in the description box, the show notes, my bio, wherever you might be listening to this. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you all later.